Alrighty, guys. So, intentional slips. Before we get started, I promise you guys I am not going to talk about rules for much longer. The last few days, weeks, it's all that we've been talking about. So I do promise you, before we get into this one, I do promise you that I'm going to ease up. But we've witnessed another match. This time, Michael Todd, Ryan Espy, that has just been it's just been too clear of a highlight for me for why we need to change the rules on intentional slips. That's what we're focusing on today. Intentional slips. So we're going to have a look now at the footage from the PAL pay-per-view event. Now, I've grabbed this footage from 217 Films. Please give them a subscribe. Link is in the description. But what I have done is just grab the bits that were deemed the intentional slips. I want you to have a look at it, and then I'll come back and talk about it. Anyway, let's have a look now at the footage of Michael Todd and Ryan Espy and their intentional slips. All right, here we are. Michael Todd, Ryan Espy. Let's have a listen. Crazy, 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 crazy. Let's have a look at another one. Now let's have a look at him in slow motion. Here we go. You can see pronation, the arm of Michael Todd stops, the wrist buckles on Ryan Espy, and the slip happens. So it's crazy. Let's have a look at it again in slow motion. The second one in slow motion. Again, side pressure, the wrist buckles on Ryan Espy, the pronation back pressure survives on Michael Todd. Slip. It's crazy. All right, there you have it. I really hate intentional slips like this. I really hate it. As you can see there. And look, first of all, let me just qualify a couple of things. Leonard Harkless, the head referee here. This is not a go at him. He's one of the most experienced refs in the world, probably the most experienced in the refereeing domain. Former head referee of the WAF, current master referee within the PAL and the IFA. Probably refereed more matches than anyone in the world. So this is not a slight on Leonard. This is a slight on the rule of intentional slipping. Now, intentional slipping, there's two problems to this rule, in my opinion. The first part is the words "in a losing position." Okay, because you'll have seen that the slips happened, and the referee deemed it to be an intentional slip in a losing position. I hate losing position. There's no way Michael Todd was in a losing pivotal moment there. Ryan Espy drove sideways off the beginning. Ryan Espy's wrist starts to buckle as he hits into the pronated defense and back pressure defense of Michael Todd. If anything, Michael Todd was starting to win. If anything, Michael Todd was about to launch a counterattack. If anything, Michael Todd was in control. Okay, the slip happened because Ryan Espy's hand was no longer able to maintain control. So he chose and was unable to contain, so he chose to let go and try to win with a flop press. Slip happens. Okay, just because it's in the bottom section of that 180-degree arc from the table, I hate that is what classifies a losing position. There's no way it was a losing position. Like I said, it was a stop. It was a stop. Okay, the next part is the intentional nature to it. To say that there was intent to slip, that there was deliberate choice, that you were not holding on by choice. We heard Leonard say, you can't have your hand open, Michael. Okay. It was no less Michael's intent to slip than it was Ryan Espy's. Ryan Espy, as I said already, he decided to let go of his wrist because he could not contain anymore and try to flop press. Okay? There was just as much intent on his behalf as there was Michael's. Who, yes, Michael was not holding on like this with fingers and containment. He was all in on pronated, rising back pressure defense. I hate the rule. for a lot of reasons. All the reasons we know. No one wants to see a match end without someone actually pinning the other person. You could see the dismay in Michael as these rules were called on him at the time, where he was just shocked. He couldn't believe that he was being called for an intentional slip in these positions. It's bad for athletes. It's bad for entertainment. It's bad for pay-per-view, especially. No one wants to win like that, and no one wants to lose like that. Now, as always, I do have a solution. It's pretty simple. I think it would be well accepted and well received across all forms of arm wrestling. Even the rigid rules guys, I think, would like this. But it essentially goes like this. If you can keep your elbow on the pad and a slip occurs in any position before you are pinned, then you go to straps. Say it one more time. If you can keep your elbow on the pad and you slip in any position, in any fashion, in any way, shape or form, before you are pinned, it's off to the straps. We need to get rid of the subjective nature of the slip. The losing position component and the intentional component. Both terrible rules. Both terrible. Strap it up. Make it happen. Let arm wrestling be the reason why someone gets the victory. We'll all enjoy it more. The athletes will be happier. And there'll be less opportunity for human error from the referees by eliminating some subjective decisions that they have to make.